Richard Widmark in our last conversation. We had talked about his role in the Alamo, and I had cited that certain documentation on the movie had maybe misconveyed that he didn't get along so well with Wayne, who directed it. But you said that when you met Widmark, he was fantastic, gave you all the time you need, and that wasn't really true, that Widmark had a different sort of story on that.
Yeah, now Widmark, I mean, and I think this may have been looking back after probably whatever it was, 15, 18 years afterwards. I recognized that John Wayne was producing, directing, and starring in this movie, and it was huge. I mean, practically every day he's got like 1,000 extras outside that need to be arranged, even though he's doing a close-up dialogue on the wall behind him. It's 1,000 extras. And he said it was, he understood it was a tough job, but he also said that Wayne was not a good director for actors. I mean, he respected Wayne's acting, but Wayne couldn't get that across to their actors about what he wanted. He just wasn't good. And Widmark was from the Actors Studio in New York, and was a little more deeper. And Wayne just was basically, the old Hollywood style. You go in, you hit your mark, and you say your lines, and you make sure you're listening to the person, and you react. And Widmark, it was deeper than that. But I think he more or less ignored Wayne's direction and went off in his own thing, which may have caused a little bit of friction between the two of them, but not to any great extent from Widmark's point of view, or what he told me. Now, maybe at the time there were some sparks between them. I've heard that Widmark would, when he was on set, was not, a cheery guy. He was on set to do his job, and he would be off in a corner and not talkative.
I think Widmark ultimately gave Wayne what he was looking for. I mean, as Jim.
I think Wayne was very happy with what he got. And if he wasn't, he would have made it known too. I mean, he was, with all the pressure on him, he was not the friendliest guy on set while they were shooting that. He was under a lot of pressure, and it showed. So if he were unhappy, he would have let Richard Widmark know about it.
And I think Wayne's package for the film was, we're going to take down half the Mexican army, and we got to be tough guys to do it. I think that was sort of his driving sort of character motif for all those guys. The thing about it, I loved the Alamo in the 4th grade, 5th grade, when it would run on TV, but I'm not so sure looking back. I feel like maybe they missed a couple of opportunities, though. I mean, I know the movie does not follow the historical battle reports. That thing happened in basically, that thing was over in one night. And Wayne's interpretation is, we're basically going to fight an American Revolution in Texas over a few weeks.
Actually, he did. He went down to Brackville and he actually rebuilt for real.
Yeah.
The exact copy of the Alamo compound. He he had the town the right distance from where the Alamo stood to the little town of San Antonio. It was fairly accurate, and the battle did last 13 days. They held them off for 13 days. Now, most of it was like the Mexican troops arriving, they waited until all the troops were there and then did 2 attacks, which is shown in the movie. The last attack was done in the dark. Wayne wasn't going to shoot a big battle scene and where he's paying for 2,000 extras. He wasn't going to shoot that at nighttime. So, but he, it's fleshed out with, fictional sidelines and sidebars. He gets away from the battle. If he just did the Battle of the Alamo, it'd be a very short film. It wouldn't be running close to 3 hours. So he put in some love interests and so forth and so on. Yeah. Overall, it's not bad as those action films going. It still holds up. I just watched it 2 nights ago.
Did you?
And boy, there's some great scenes in there, but it's just bloated, and he's got some sentimental stuff, and he's got his daughter appearing in it, and there's a lot of stuff in there. It's like, oh, what's all that junk doing in there?
Well, I think Patrick Wayne actually holds his own in the movie when he appears. I mean, there's a great book on it written by a historian called 3 Roads to the Alamo, but if you read it, you're going to interpret Travis, Bowie, and Crockett in a whole different way.
Oh, yeah.
From a historical standpoint, Bowie in particular, they were not that likable. I mean, it's, and that's, I think, you know,
in terms of its accuracy and the characterizations of Crockett, Travis, and Bowie, I'm sure it's way off the mark there.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever. It's a John Wayne movie.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Every single word.
And you summed it up perfectly. It's a John Wayne movie, and you know what you're getting with it, and that's okay. It's not. I never watch a movie like that thinking, well, if this doesn't hit the historical beats, like I don't look at Lawrence of Arabia and go, if they don't interpret this exactly the way this guy brought down the Ottoman Empire, you know, obviously there's certain sort of liberties they have to take.
Sure, it's a dramatic interpretation of history. So yeah, if you're looking for history, don't look to movies to find history.
Right. But I mean, it was
I should want to go.
It's an ambitious production.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.